Awesome, guys. We're live. Welcome to Executive Leaders Chat. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for tuning into that. So today we're going to talk about, we're just going to do a brief topic, but I think it's an important topic. And I think it's something that everyone can relate to being frightened of in network marketing. I think we've all been there. And I'm going to kind of go through some tips of how to reach out to your quote unquote chicken list. So who are the people in your life that you are inspired by, that you are intimidated by, that are more successful than you, that you would love to collaborate with in your business, but every time you think about it, you get sick to your stomach? How many of you have someone like that? Raise your hand, say I. Okay. I totally know. I've been there, done that. And I want to give you guys some tips, and I want to actually share a story with you about how just letting that fear go can really propel your life into a different level of success and collaboration and just contribution and just everything. So going back a little ways, like when you get into network marketing, a lot of people are just paralyzed by fear that they're going to be rejected. There's this fear of, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? Oh my gosh, what if they say something negative? Oh my gosh, what if they think I'm in a quote unquote pyramid or whatever it is? So as you start to get confident in your approach in network marketing, you read things like GoPro, follow Eric Worre. I'm super excited. I'm going to be seeing Eric Worre live in 2 weekends. I think I'll be in Phoenix for the ISA Influencers event with Eric Worre. It's a small training and I'm super excited. So I'll bring you guys back a lot of content for that. But he's really brilliant about breaking it down and just being human. And networking, you want to think about it this way. Network marketing, it's not instant gratification. And this is so hard for people because we live in a microwave mentality society, and not even just in America, all across the world. People just want it fast, right? They don't want to work for it. They don't want to put in the sweat equity. They don't want to take the time to show up every day and to be the CEO. They just want the money rolling in. Well, we know that that doesn't happen. And it certainly doesn't happen in network marketing because you wouldn't have a legitimate business if that was the case, right? So you want to release the lottery mentality and you want to focus in on what is your long-term results that you want. So what is your 2 to 5 year plan? And then mapping out your daily activities for that, because it's really going to take you 2 to 5 years to create a successful network marketing business. Now, you might not appreciate me saying that to you, but I'm going to be honest with you because it's the truth. And it will take 2 to 5 years of diligent hard work, daily activity to produce a substantial income that's an income that you would want in network marketing. So you do that by obviously creating a list, reaching out to your list. We've done a lot on these trainings about connecting and, different ways to do that and, having a great online presence and all of those things. But approaching your quote unquote chicken list is something that people like nobody wants to talk about. And it's not a topic that a lot of people train on, but I think it's really important. So how do you start to have the confidence to reach out to the people? Because here's what you need to take your business and your life to the next level. Who do you need surrounding you? Do you need people surrounding you that are in the same financial situation, the same mindset, or do you need people that are 1 level or 2 levels above? You need people that are 1 to 2 levels above you, right? So that you can learn, grow, expand, push yourself. You can have that person to look up to emulate. So you don't want to just be reaching out. Everybody gets into network marketing and they call all their friends from high school. Like, I don't know about you. Actually, a lot of my friends from high school are on my team. So I shouldn't say that. But, I don't know about you, but a lot of people that you maybe grew up with, are they all living amazing lives that you want to emulate? Maybe not. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know what your circle of influence was, but it's important to know that we always want to go outside of our comfort zone. So in order to go outside our comfort zone, we have to push ourselves and we have to look at people that are more successful than we are. And we have to emulate them. We have to collaborate them. We have to introduce ourselves to them. So one of the things that, and guys, back up 5 years, I was not always confident in business. It took me a long time to get confident online, confident in business, but I had a belief in myself. And I think anyone that's going to be tuning into these recordings has a belief in themselves that they can do more than they're currently doing. Can everyone relate to that? You know that you have more capability in you than you're currently allowing yourself to produce. That's just how most people feel. You feel this little spark, you feel this little energy in your soul, but you're not really sure how to get there yet. And if that's the case, I really honor and respect you because that was me for a long time. I just kept showing up. I just kept showing up. I just kept doing the work. I just kept surrounding myself with people that were on my chicken list that I was intimidated by because I wanted to be like them. I wanted to emulate their success. So thinking right now, I want you to think of 1 or 2 people that you would love to have in your business center collaborating with you, or not even just necessarily in your business center, but collaborating with you in building the business that you're building online that you are deathly afraid to call right now. Okay. Can everyone think of at least one person? Just like nod your head on the recording. Yeah. Just like one person, maybe 2. And I want you to ask yourself, what makes them different than you? What makes them different than you? They put their pants on the same way, 1 foot at a time. They are human. They have bad days. They have good days. They have good hair days. They have bad hair days. Like, they're just human, right? So if you take people off a pedestal and you just look at them as human beings that you can build a relationship with, it'll be a lot easier to reach out. So one of the best ways to actually reach out to someone on your chicken list is to give them a compliment first and to reach out. So say I was connecting with Misty. Misty just got on. Hi, babe. Say Misty was on my chicken list. I'm like, oh my gosh, she knows so much about health. She's so beautiful. She's a certified holistic coach. I don't have that certification, like whatever the story was, right? And maybe Misty was on my list for a long time. Now, what if I just sent Misty a note on Facebook and said, hey girl, I've been following you for a long time. You're super inspiring to me. First of all, how many people are offended when someone gives you a compliment? Said nobody ever, right? Nobody's ever offended when you open it up with a compliment. And I reached out and I said, hey girl, I've been following you a long time. I'm so inspired by you. I'm building this business. I would love your opinion about what I'm doing. Would you have time to do a 10 or 15 minute call with me so we could connect? Now, you're not pitching them. You're not asking them to join your team. You're kind of asking for their advice. Now, here's the thing. Successful people that are grounded will always give you advice. They will always give you advice. I give people free advice all day long online. I don't charge for it. I'm not like, hey, why don't you join my team after I gave you advice? Like, I'm just giving back to the world because successful people understand that it's an energy flow. The more you give, the more you get back, the more you receive. And so anyone that's going to be in a position of looking like they're successful or actually being successful online, they're going to understand this and they're going to want to donate their time on some level. Now, most millionaires, most high-level CEOs in traditional business wouldn't give you the time. But in network marketing and free enterprise, you can find a lot of people that will mentor you and just spend, 10 or 15 minutes with you here, 10 or 15 minutes with you there, just giving you some tips. Because guess what? They started somewhere too. They started at rock bottom too. They built a foundation, so they know what it's like. So think about the people in Isagenix that you look up to. Who are the leaders that you could reach out to say, hey, I've been following you. Say Emily Vavra. I know there's a lot of people on our team that just love Emily. We were at Celebration. People saw Emily. They're like, oh my gosh, it's Emily Vavra. Like, people freaked out, right? So she's so beautiful and she's great. But what if you just sent her a message? I know Emily does this. Emily Stoughton talks to Emily Vavra online quite a bit. She'll just message her and Emily will message back, right? Like, she's sweet and she'll message you back. So most leaders are going to be very kind. And so it just takes a little bit here, a little bit there to start to build a relationship with them. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to like leave their team and join your team, but you can learn from them. You can start to create a confidence reaching out to these people. And they don't have to be in Isagenix. They don't have to be in network marketing. I'm just giving you guys some examples of how you can connect with people that are maybe what you think out of your league of people to connect with. And it'll start to increase your confidence of it's just humans, like they're just people. And it'll be easier to then talk to the next person on your list. Does that kind of make sense? So reaching out to people on your chicken list, it doesn't mean that your goal is to necessarily enroll them. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And maybe they will join you at some point down the road. It probably won't be overnight where they would collaborate with you because you might not be at that place yet to be able to collaborate with them. I don't know. But it's just a good exercise to reach out and to say, hey, I'm so inspired by what you're doing. I have so much respect for how you show up in your business. I'm currently working on my business. I would love to pick your brain. Do you have 10 minutes to do a call with me? Can I take you to lunch? If they live in your area, can I take you out to coffee? I mean, how powerful is that if someone offered to take you out to lunch to just spend time with you to pick your brain? Wouldn't you be honored by that? I would totally say yes. And I do calls for people all the time in different companies with a variety of different issues that they want to know about or whatever, and I'll give them advice, and I'll just say, here's what I did, here's what worked for me, here's what you don't want to do. And I'll just give, because I understand that it's going to come back around. I understand that somebody did that for me, and somebody allowed me to the stepping stones to get where I'm at today. So just know that don't be intimidated by people on social media. A lot of times I'll get messages in my inbox saying like, oh my gosh, I was like scared to reach out to you. I'm like, why would you be scared to reach out to me? Like, I didn't think you were going to respond. So just know that you want to be that person that people feel drawn to as a leader. And also you want to look for leaders that are also living that, so that you can emulate their success, you can emulate their energy, and you don't have to be nervous around anybody. Just because they're making more money than you and just because they're successful online, it doesn't mean that they're better than you. It just means that they've learned some skills and some habits that are necessary to create that. That's it. You have the same potential that they do. So I'll give you an example in my own life. I think all of you know who Jeffrey Combs is. He's my personal coach and mentor. He's also become one of my dear friends, and he's become a collaborator. Now, 3 years ago, I couldn't have even imagined that. I was so nervous to reach out to him. I actually I'd followed him for years. I followed him for probably 5 years. And so for 2 years, I just watched. And I just told myself that I wasn't good enough to coach with him. I wasn't making enough money. He would never coach me because I wasn't successful enough. And one day, how, okay, I would hire him when I made $1 million. That was literally the story in my mind. I was like, Jeff wouldn't coach with me. He's the millionaire maker. I'm not a millionaire yet. He would laugh at me that's like the dialogue. And it was totally a story I made up in my mind. And one evening it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was just done. Have you guys ever been just like done with where you're at in your business, in your life? I was done. I was so effing done. I didn't want to be there anymore. I was willing to do whatever it took, and I was willing to follow any sort of model behavior. And I had a mentor that had really disappointed me. And I was just kind of at this like icky place where I just wanted success so bad, but I didn't have the right people around me. And so I remember typing a message to Jeff. I don't even remember what I said. It was like almost like an out of body experience. And I pressed send, and I was like, oh shoot, I just pressed send. Like, anybody ever did that? Like, you write a message and you're like, oh my gosh, I just sent it. It's out in cyberspace and I can't get it back. And I was like mortified, and he responded right away. And he said, I'll call you tonight. This was like at 8 o'clock at night. He said, I'll call you tonight at 10 p.m. What's your phone number? And I was paralyzed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get on the phone with Jeffrey Combs. I don't know what to say. I'm not good enough. Blah, 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 blah. Like total self-sabotage behavior. So sure enough, 10 p.m. on the dot, very punctual, he rings my phone. I get on the phone with him, and within 30 seconds, those of you who've ever coached with Jeff or talked with Jeff, I was in tears in 30 seconds. And I said, you're making me cry. And he said, I can't make you do anything. You're crying. Own your emotions. And I was like, whoa, okay, yes, absolutely. You're right. You can't make me do anything. Like, I'm crying, and that's good. So it started this dialogue. Now, was he my really good friend right away? Did we do business together right away? No, not at all. But fast forward 3 years later, my life has transformed. My business has transformed. We are now collaborating on a bunch of different projects. I'm working with him not in his company, but I'm in alignment with some of his events, and he features me as a speaker at all of his Southern California events. We are creating some other things together. We're going to be working together on a different social media platform that I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be awesome. So you guys, it's like totally different. So he went from being someone I was extremely intimidated by, that was on my chicken list, to becoming my coach, to becoming one of my good friends and collaborators, all within a 3-year process. Just because I finally mustered up the courage to send him a note on Facebook. And he has directly and indirectly helped dozens of people on our team, and lots of other people that I've referred to him, outside of Isagenix, just in business. I have lots of friends that coach with him, not in Isagenix, that have used him for real estate coaching and all this stuff. So it's the ripple effect. So what you want to think about is the people on your list that have influence, affluence, that are doing things, that are on your chicken list. How can you connecting with them, how will it not only assist your life, but how will it assist other people in your life? So you never know. You never know who you're going to connect with that's going to connect you to somebody else, that's going to connect you to somebody else. Now, Jeffrey just introduced me to a gentleman named G. Edward Griffin, that I have been following since I was 22 years old, who is an amazing author, speaker, entrepreneur, conscious thought leader. And I've known about him since I was in my early 20s. I'm now collaborating with both of them. Like, that is amazing, right? That is amazing. And that's called, it's divine intervention. But it wouldn't have happened had I not, if I had just waited to become a millionaire to call Jeff, right? Like, I might still be sitting there with not a lot of business going on, spinning my wheels. I don't know. I don't know where I would be. But think about where you are right now and where you want to go. Who are the people? Because you all have circles of influence that are important. You all have circles of really amazing gym owner or spa owner in your area. Maybe it's a teacher. Maybe it's a principal of a high school that just has great presence. Maybe it can be anybody. It doesn't have to be a person in network marketing, but a person of influence that you respect in business, that's doing well, that you want to emulate. Now, if they're in business and they're doing well, but they're a jerk, like, take them off your list. You know what I mean? Like, you want people that have integrity. Like, you don't want just people that are like, because they're rich, you know, they're successful. Like, that doesn't matter. It's like, how is that person making their money? Or are they doing it with integrity? How are they showing up in the world? How are they serving the world? And you're inspired by that. So I guarantee that each of you on the line right now has at least one or two people in your life that you can think of that would fit into this category. And what I want to encourage you to do is, over the next week, muster up the courage, just take a deep breath and just reach out to them. Like, don't think about it. Don't overanalyze it. Just have a conversation with a human, because you never know where that conversation can take you. Now, it might not take you anywhere. It might just give you courage to reach out, because then if you start at the top of your chicken list and you contact all the scary people first, how much easier is it to then call your aunt and your cousin and your best friend from, you know, like, super easy, right? You're like, whew, oh my goodness, that's so much easier. So start with the most difficult task first. This is how I run my day too. The things that I don't want to do, the things that are the hardest to do, I will force myself to do them first. Because then the rest of the day, it's easier. Right? Once you overcome, it's kind of like working out, right? Like, you want to, like, you get your cardio out of the way first, because you're like, oh, I'll do weights after. You know, weights are easy. You can kind of just like, meh, but like, your cardio first, like, or whatever it is, like, do the hard thing first, because then the other things are going to be so much easier.
Or when you were little and you would eat your vegetables first and then eat the rest of your food. Now we love our vegetables.
It's good. That's a really good example. Eat your vegetables first. They're the things that are going to nourish you. They're the things that are going to build you up. Same thing with your daily discipline. Same thing with your list. Your chicken list, the people that you're afraid to reach out to, those are the people that are going to build your character. Even if they say no to you, it's going to build your character. I love what Jimmy Smith says. He says, the yeses build my business and the no's build my character. And he says that he's at where he is today, which his family has produced over, I think, $35 million in Isagenix collectively over 15 years or whatever it's been. And he said that the only reason why he has the success he has today is because he has more no's than you do. He's just gotten more no's. That's it. And you guys, I will tell you, I've gotten a lot of no's. Now, my yeses, at some point, your no's will become less and your yeses will become more, but it's because I've gotten thousands and thousands and thousands of no's. You know how many people have said no to joining my team? A lot. Do you know how many people have said no to signing up in Isagenix? A lot. Now I don't get them as much. I don't attract it, but I attract people saying, yes, 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 I'm ready. But it's building to that point. It's building to that energetic point where you're starting to attract people. So if you're not growing your team, if you're not enrolling a lot, it means you're not talking to enough people. That's it. You just talk to more people. It doesn't mean that you don't have the knowledge. You guys are on all these training calls. You know what to say. You know what to say. You know what to do. You know the product works. You know our system. You know how to enroll someone. Like, you know all of that. Don't get caught up in the details of it. It's talk to people, talk to people, talk to people, talk to people. When you're done talking to those people, go find some other people to talk to you. I'm always talking to people, even if I know I'm not going to like pitch them necessarily. Like, I go to the park, I talk to people. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to enroll them. Like, you don't want to always have like that energy, because then you're like the creepy network marketing person at the park that nobody wants to sit by. don't be that person. Like, just always be connecting, like just asking questions, and you'll get good at asking questions and you'll get good at connecting, so that prospecting becomes effortless and prospecting becomes part of your life. Does that make sense? Prospecting is a part of your life. It's not this separate thing that we do. If you separate it from yourself, you're going to be overwhelmed. It's going to feel like, oh, like a challenge. But if you make prospecting part of your life, you're just connecting. You're just meeting people. And the fastest way to gain confidence in talking to people and connecting with people is talking to people that are outside of your bubble of comfort. So maybe it's a doctor. Maybe it's your chiropractor, your dentist. Who knows? I don't know. The people that you look up to that you're like, gosh, they run an amazing business. I would love to be like them. Reach out to them. See what can happen. So that's my challenge for this week, is for all of us. I need to look at my I need to redo my chicken list, because I'm sure there's people that now, I could be intimidated by and try to reach out to them. But it's just good practice. It's just a good, actually, I do know, I have a lady, and I'll share it with you guys. I have a lady who is she ran for Senate, and I interviewed her on my podcast, but I don't know her really well. And she sometimes will like my Isagenix posts, but I've been like nervous to reach out to her I don't know why. She has 3 kids. She's a mom, but she's like doing all this amazing stuff in our political realm. And I'm so inspired by her. And I'm like, oh, why would she want to join Isagenix? Oh, why would she want to be in network marketing? Like, I've kind of had that dialogue. So I'll put her on my list and I'll contact her this week. But just think about, who are the top people? Who are the top 2 people that you would want to either collaborate with, learn from, or enroll in your business center? And I think I've told this story before, but it's absolutely relevant to what we're talking about. There is a girl named Emily Stoke who was very, very successful in another network marketing company. And I had watched her basically rise to being $1 million earner in that company. And I'd followed her on social media for a while. And I'd always wanted her in my Isagenix team. I just liked her. I liked her presence. I liked her energy. I liked how she was about her family, all of this stuff. And so I thought in my mind, no, she'll never join my team because she's really successful in this other team. Why would I contact her about Isagenix? Why would I it's a waste of my time. She's already successful. She's not looking for another company. I had all these stories. Well, a couple months after I was like feeling really drawn to reach out to her, and I didn't, I see a post online and I was like, gosh, that's an interesting post for her to put up. That almost sounds like an Isagenix thing that she's doing. So I sent her a message and I said, hey girl, I saw your post. What is it that you were talking about? She's like, oh, I just joined this amazing company called Isagenix. Yeah. So her other company had gone under, and this random guy who wasn't even really successful in the business enrolled her. And he got a rock star on his team because I told her, I said, oh my gosh, you are on my chicken list for 4 years. She's like, oh, I wish you would have contacted me. I wish you would have told me about Isagenix. And that was like I just was like, I am never going to allow myself to do that to myself again. Because not only could I have just developed a relationship with her, but she potentially could have been on my team. I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't have joined me. Maybe she would have. I don't know. But just the fact that she ended up in the same company as me and she was on my chicken list and I didn't call her. So don't let that happen to you. I'm giving you that example because I don't want that to happen to you guys. So write down your chicken list, reach out to 2 this week. Let's see, it's Tuesday. You can totally reach out to 2 by Sunday and just ask them for advice or say hello or just give them a compliment. It doesn't have to be like, hey, check out my Isagenix link. In fact, don't do that. Just say, hey, I've been following you for a while. I'm building this business. I'm so inspired by the way that you run your company. I'd love to pick your brain sometime. Would you ever like to meet me for coffee, or would you ever have time to chat for 10 minutes or whatever? 10 minutes. I always say 10 or 15 minutes because busy people can donate 10 or 15 minutes. They can't donate a half hour to an hour. It's too much. If you ask them for 10 minutes, they'll always say yes. Okay? So that's really the content that I wanted to go over today. I think we've kind of wrapped it up nicely there. I would love to take any questions. Does anyone have any questions or comments or shares? I know everybody's busy. Everybody's got activities going on. Lana, you want to say anything, babe? Unmute. There you go.
So interesting that you brought this up today for our topic, just because I just reached out to this girl who's been on my page for probably about a year. and she's really sort of on the same wavelength as me with mindset and stuff like that. And she does like non-toxic makeup and things like that. And we were just talking last night because I reached out to her and said, would you ever be interested in collaborating and doing like an online event like with her makeup products and about Isagenix products? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to do that. So, and she lives in Northern Ireland, but she actually said to me, I'd be happy to do one in person and I'll come to London. So I was like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. So it's just so interesting that you've got this today as our topic.
Yay! I love that. Lana, thank you for sharing that. It's so powerful. And we're open in Ireland now. So super amazing if she ever wants to try the products. And that's the thing. I love what Lana said. Like, are you open to collaborating with me? Because people don't want to know what you're doing. Like, they're into their own stuff. So if you give them a platform to also share what they're doing, they're going to have more respect for you. So especially with the Facebook Lives where you can do, 2 lives, like you guys could do a live together about non-toxic living, and it could each be about what you're passionate about. So it doesn't necessarily have to always be about Isagenix. It's just about who can you collaborate with? Who can you have that relationship with? So I love that. You got to let us know how that goes, okay? Awesome. Great share. Would anyone else like to share, comment, ask questions?
I want to know why you were crying when you spoke with Jeffrey.
Oh.
If it's personal.
Yeah. No.
Cry.
Yeah. Most people cry on the phone with him the first time. It's just, yeah. Emily's like, yeah. It's just, he is an expert at figuring out why you do what you do, and he will call you out on your stuff. So I talked for about 30 seconds. I said a couple sentences, not very much, and he didn't know anything about my life. And he said, you're addicted to disappointment. And I just burst into tears because I had never connected where I was at, that I was addicted to disappointment, but I would do meetings and nobody would show up. I'd sign people up and they'd fall off. I'd make a consultant, I'd lose a consultant. Like I was emotionally addicted to disappointing myself. Even though I was getting into massive action, I wasn't in alignment. And so I was repelling my success. Does that make sense? I was rebelling against my own success. And he said that, and it was like, I never thought about that, but it hit me in my core, and I just burst into tears. And that's usually what will happen if you've done a 15-minute coaching with Jeff. Usually within that first 15 minutes, he will decode whatever it is that you're hanging on to, and he'll say it back to you. And when you hear it back, it resonates and you get emotional because it's something you need to release.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Great question. Missy, you want to share, babe?
I just love that. I mean, me and him messaged for a little while one day, and I added him as a friend, and he's like, oh, do you know Brittany? And I was like, yeah, that's, how I found your page, and, back and forth. And I'm still like, oh my God, I want to do the coaching call, but I'm terrified. I'm so scared.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I'll
put it on your list. Okay, make Jeffrey your list, and send him a message and say, hey, I'm one of Brittany's business partners. He'll get back to you right away if you say you're working with me. And just say, if you're still offering a free 15-minute session, I'd love to connect with you. That's it. Okay. And even if you don't hire him at all or right away, you will still find value in that 15 minutes. That's why I continually share it with our team, and I talk about it over and over and over again. Because if you were to say the one thing that's shifted in my life the most over the last 3 years in terms of my mindset and my ability, it's been coaching with Jeff. So why would I not share that with you guys? And he's not for everybody, but he's amazing for people that are ready for that. Yeah. So good. That's a good chicken list, Missy.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been just kind of in the back of my mind thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I will. And now I'm like, oh,
I did it for 2 years, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I did that for 2 years in my mind. Like, oh, maybe now. Oh, nope, not now. Just freak out. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Any other shares, questions? Scarlett's having a meltdown. Yeah, she's ready to go. Okay, let's let Em go because she's recording it. That's why she's at the mall doing this for me. I love you, Em. Thank you. Awesome, guys. This will be posted in the page shortly. Thank you for contributing and collaborating with me. I love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome Tuesday. And Lana, actually, Em, you can hang up, but Lana and I are going to